Hi, it's Friday. You know what that means? It's time for another double feature Friday. And this week I'm talking about two modern Gialli films, and those films are Knife and Heart and The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears. Let's get into it. So The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears actually was released in 2013. There's some conflicting release dates, but I guess it was released in the US with a limited theatrical release in 2014, but it appeared at some film festivals in 2013. I'm gonna butcher all these names. It was directed by Hélène Calvet and Bruno Ferranzi. They've also directed, so I think this is the second film they directed. I haven't seen their first one, and the name of it is escaping me right now. And their third film I actually might talk about in the near future, is one of my favorites I've seen recently, and that film is Let the Corpses Tan. It's so fun. So I was really excited to watch this film, also because it's modern giallo. But I will say that I watched this film twice in the past week, and I still don't really understand what happened in this movie. That being said, I think it's totally worth a watch. Like, even watching it twice, I didn't dislike watching it the second time. It is such a stunningly beautiful film. So I sort of wonder, for me, this is a subtitled film. I do watch a lot of European films. Usually we watch the dub versions, which I know maybe isn't as good, but it's easier for me to sort of follow the plot as opposed to reading, especially because sometimes we watch movies when we're eating dinner, and I find that's the hardest for me, is to watch a subtitled film when I'm also trying to eat, because you have to look away from the screen so much and you might miss something. So it's part of the reason why I watched this film a second time. I still had no idea sort of what happens. I mean, I think there's a lot of abstract imagery, and there's a whole sequence that's very Lynchian. This is so stylized. If you like Gialli, I would watch it. You might even get more out of it than I do. I'm gonna blame myself. I think I missed something in the plot. I think also, though, a lot of it seems to be open to interpretation. It is such a beautiful film. The sets are amazing. It's very well acted, but it's also not a very dialogue heavy film. So I think that's maybe where this one sort of falls short. It seems like it's more style over substance, which I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it would have been nice to have more dialogue between characters. Because even like if you watch one of Lynch's films, he'll have a lot of dialogue in between the sort of like surreal, dreamlike sequences. And I think that does sort of bring this sort of grounding to the film, or sense of realism, where you can sort of feel like you're in this dreamlike state, but there are moments of lucidity or wakefulness or something like that to kind of balance it out. And if you're interested in a modern take on a Gialli, this is, in my opinion, it's kind of one of the better ones, even with my complaint of not knowing what happened. I think it looks great, and it is fun. There's a lot of really interesting visuals. It's really well directed. If you watch these sorts of films for the fun kills, it's worth it. There's a good amount of sort of bloodiness. I really liked it. I would give it like a 3.5 or 4 out of 5, but I say it's worth checking out. So then the other film I'm going to talk about today is Knife and Heart. I watched this one maybe a year ago, I think, when it first came out on Shudder. Both these films are on Shudder in Canada. Knife and Heart was released in 2018, and it's directed by Yan Gonzalez, and it stars Vanessa Paradis. It also stars Kate Moran as Lois and Nicholas Mari as Archie, and then obviously there's other people in this film. So Knife and Heart is a French film, and it is mostly about gay porno studio, I guess. This film is very sexy. There's a lot of sex because they're filming a lot of pornos in this movie. So I rewatched it again this week in preparation for this video, and I have to say I enjoyed it so much more. The storytelling I think is really well done. I actually really like that they sort of parody some of the real life events that are happening in their porno film, and then the killer is great. I think the reveal of who the killer is interesting. His motivation for killing, everything does make sense more than a lot of like 70s Giallis usually end up. I find like the older Giallis, the plots are often quite convoluted, or the reveal, they have so many red herrings, and it's like when you finally find out who the killer is, I sometimes don't care that much. I don't know, it gets kind of lost. This film is like very well structured and very well told. It also looks so good. So it is set in the late 60s. I would say it doesn't really strike me as being a period piece like that. Like I feel like it could be modern. I don't know. I think I'm also kind of, it's harder for me because I'm just used to watching films from the 70s. So I think I'm a little desensitized to sort of modern aesthetics sometimes. I think this film looks great. The sets are great. The costuming is wonderful. I think Vanessa Paradis as Anna is just so good. She does a great job. All the actors actually do a really good job, and I think it's a really fun film and also worth a watch. I would say if you like Gialli. This one might even be kind of more suitable for people who don't know anything about that genre. I think it translates a bit better than The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears, which I think might not work for sort of just your average movie goer. I would give Knife and Heart a 4, maybe a 4.5 on this rewatch. I really liked it a lot better this time around. I think it's totally worth checking out. Both films are worth checking out. So have you seen either of these films, and did you enjoy them? What did you think of Strange Color of Your Body's Tears? Was it overwhelming for you as well, or is it just me? Thanks so much for watching this video. That's it for me for this week, and bye for now.